We may be creatures of the night, but blood ain't what we're looking to suck.
Welcome to the Mind Your Movies podcast. I'm Shane.
And I'm Ryan.
Hey, see, the saying the quote's not as easy as it looks, right? You gotta come on.
Yeah, we're swapping it up this time. That's right. I feel like I should have worn a tie or something.
Why? Why? I don't wear ties.
I'm all fancy saying the quote. Oh yeah, well,
Yeah. You could have grown a beard, maybe.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome to the Mind Your Movies podcast. Where this week our topic is Tubi Originals, which Ryan put in the cup. This is Ryan's fault. Just everyone can blame him. We're
I
talking about
put good
two.
stuff in the cup too. I put good stuff in the cup too. I'm just gonna say
Sure.
it's
You
not
also
all garbage.
You also put Tubi Originals, and you put the Letterbox 250 worst. So a couple tough episodes recently, but
These are movies we never would have watched without the incentive.
and would my life be better? Who knows?
Listen, we're gonna get all into these movies,
We
but
are gonna get into it.
first,
These movies were not that bad. They were interesting enough to watch, I think.
yeah,
They but yes, the movies are Slay, the I think 2024 drag queen vampire movie, which is a Tubi original, and also Muru, which is also known as The Raid. I think on Tubi, at least in the US, it's known as The Raid, but the original title in Maori, I guess,
yeah.
is Muru. So those are the two movies. We're gonna get into them with full spoiler discussion later on. Before we get into that, we usually like to talk about a few things we've seen recently. Ryan, do you have anything ready, or do you want me to go first?
I'll start off. I watched I will I'll jump in with The Long Walk, which is the newest Stephen King adaptation. It's I think it was pretty interesting for the allegory, right? So it's if you don't know, I guess it's people have to walk for as long as they can. If they're under a certain speed, well, they're not going to finish the race,
It,
and
it's like it's like Speed with legs.
yeah, speed with legs. Yep. Except, yeah. Exactly. You have to stay over a certain mile per hour. Um, and so it's kind of interesting. I mean, I think I kind of went in with pretty low expectations and they were definitely exceeded, which was nice. Because I kind of just went in thinking, yeah, whatever, it'll be fine. And I think for most of the movie, I thought it was actually better than fine. I thought it was pretty good. Um, it has kind of a pretty easy to read allegory on like the Vietnam War and stuff, and it's pretty interesting, I think, in that regard. It's also like a pretty uh like dark movie in a way. Like, I mean,
It
you know,
looks like it. You're probably gonna watch 49 teenagers get murdered by
yeah,
the state.
that's pretty much what happens, right? So that's
Yeah.
obviously it's kind of dark, but it's I think it's pretty good. I didn't love the ending. I obviously won't say anything about it because this is spoiler free here, but I would say if people were kind of like iffy on it, if you weren't sure if it really looked good, I would say, you know what? It's still going to be in theaters. I think when this comes out, you might as well see it, you know,
Hmm.
whatever.
Have you read the original Stephen King book or anything?
I have not, but from what I've seen online, it looks like this is a very close adaptation. But I
Hmm.
haven't read it myself, so it's hard to say.
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw the trailer for this and my interest wasn't super peaked. I really like David Johnson and Cooper Hoffman though. They are both really talented actors. But I don't know, it's been getting very good reviews, but I just didn't end up seeing it because like you said, it's probably just like going to be a lot of murdering innocent people and it's probably going to be pretty sad. So I wasn't necessarily in the mood to run out to the theater for that.
Yeah, and our main duo there, they did. I mean, as always, they've delivered well in their acting, but yeah, it's also I don't think it's necessarily one you have to see in theaters. You know,
Hmm.
when it pops online, you can watch it at some point. I think people will get a good amount out of it still. So
I feel like the two of them could have they have very promising careers, a lot of potential. So this is definitely a movie that could maybe 10, 20, 30 years from now, people look back on it like, wow, what a cool thing where, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're both Oscar winning huge actors by then. It's possible.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
But yeah. All right. Let's see. One movie that I saw recently is currently streaming on Hulu. It's called Sacramento. It stars the director, whose name I have forgotten off the top of my head, and I'm going to look it up right now. But it's starring and directed by Michael Angarano. I believe that's how you say his name. He's the kid from Sky High.
Whoa.
Yeah, if that's I believe he's like the main kid from Sky High. Uh, and yeah, he's Will Stronghold from Sky High. He was in also that means probably he's done a lot of stuff. He has 45 acting credits and he's directed one movie previously. But yeah, this one came out this year. It stars him and Michael Cera as sort of estranged friends. They're going into their 30s. Michael Cera's wife is played by Kristen Stewart and she's pregnant and Michael Cera's having some uh issues adjusting to how his life is probably changing. And it's they end up going on a little impromptu road trip to Sacramento. And it's kind of a classic, like this is pretty classic, like 2000s to like 2010s Sundance indie dramedy kind of a thing. But I think it was really well executed. It was really well shot and the performances were great. I really enjoyed it. There was a couple little things like plot points that weren't 100%. One main thing in particular that happens later on in the movie is a little bit like did not feel realistic, but despite that, everything else was really good. It was very funny, and I enjoyed the characters. It was a really well made movie, and it's pretty much like going under the radar. I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about it, and I thought it was really enjoyable, and I wanted to recommend it to people. I think it's worth checking out. It's called Sacramento, currently streaming on Hulu. Also, you can probably rent it if you don't want to support Hulu.
The mouse.
Yeah, fuck the mouse. Not
Yeah.
well, Disney. Mice
Yeah.
are fine. I don't have anything
Yeah,
against
yeah,
mice,
right.
but fuck Disney.
Nice. Yeah, Sacramento. That sounds pretty interesting though. And it's a new movie this year.
Yeah, I believe it played some festivals in 2024 and then came out in theaters earlier this year.
Nice. Awesome. Um, I'll jump on with another this year movie, which is Eleanor the Great, which I saw randomly. I went to which is kind of like tradition at this point for me. I'm going to these mystery showings, the screen unseens at AMC's, and and I didn't really know what to expect from this one. It was Eleanor the Great, which actually we talked about this. I think maybe you and I talked off camera one time, and you guessed that it might be Eleanor the Great, and
Oh, there
it
we go.
was.
I was right.
You were
Yes,
right.
I forgot about that.
Genius
There,
guy,
there
dude.
wasn't much. It was like
Yeah.
we knew it was PG-13 and there were only a few options, I think.
Yeah. I think you had like a 50-50 shot, and I picked the
Yeah.
other one. So, um, but this is Scarlett Johansson's directorial debut, feature length at least. I don't know if she's done other stuff, but um, and it was surprisingly like heartfelt. I think the beginning I was a little weary because the main character is pretty unlikable, which is fine, but it's a hard sell at the beginning to have like this unlikable person and there's a lot of product. I don't know if it's actually product placement, but definitely a lot of products mentioned right away.
Hmm.
Like you're like there's like a Starbucks thing, there's like Uber right away, like a lot of stuff kind of thrown at you right away. And I was kind of like, okay, this is gonna be a pretty bad movie. But it turned out to be really good. I think once you get past that first like introductory hump, um, this old lady essentially she loses her best friend. They're like they've lived together for like 15 years when they lost their husbands or something along those lines. And she moves from Florida up to New York to be with her like daughter, I think. And
I thought she died. The friend.
the friend died.
Or oh,
Yeah,
I
she
thought you
moves. Sorry,
the
sorry.
main character Eleanor.
Eleanor moves to New York, which is where she's originally from, and um, and there she's pretty lonely. She's trying to, figure out how to make friends. She goes to this uh, Jewish community center because her daughter signs her up for like a singing class, and she ends up going into a Holocaust survivor like support group on accident and rolls with it and kind of tells them all that she survived the Holocaust. And it spirals from there. And I don't want to give anything else away, Parts of it
Interesting.
are humorous, but it's also really heartfelt. And I don't want to spoil anything, but I would say it was surprisingly good. I think there is kind of like, honestly, I don't know. I didn't like the beginning of it, as you can tell, but I think once I got past that, it was pretty enjoyable.
Nice. Good. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Kind of seems like it and Sacramento might be similar vibes, but instead of people sort of getting into their 30s and getting into like real adulthood, it's like a really old lady.
Yeah, kind of the
Eh,
the
eh,
later in life counterpart to coming of age or something, you know?
Coming of old age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, all right. Cool. Eleanor the Great. Uh, One movie I watched was really great. It's After Yang. It's Kogonada's second movie. I love Columbus, and then After Yang, I've been kind of like sitting on it, haven't watched it. I was like, I'm probably really gonna like this movie. So then I was waiting on it a little bit. I watched it and yep, it was a banger. Uh, it's set in sort of uh kind of in I don't know how do I describe it. I think the best way to describe it is if Yasujiro Ozu directed Ex Machina or her.
That's a crazy statement, and I'm
Yeah.
sold.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yang is so Colin Farrell and his wife, I forget the actress name, but she's very good in the movie. Uh Jodie Turner Smith. Uh they have a daughter who is like adopted and she's Chinese, so they get a robot I think they're called I forget what they're called in the movie, but they're like it's not like it's like meta human or like cyborg human. I don't know. There's some word for it. But sort of like Homo sapien, but not like of a robot sapien kind of a thing. Maybe Robo sapien. I don't remember what it was called.
Cool.
Anyway, it's a robot that looks like a human that has some sort of artificial intelligence. Has uh memories or whatever. Has seems to have conscious thought and stuff. So Yang just stops working one day. They have to try to figure out what's going on. And it's kind of just a really beautiful family drama, which is why it reminded me of Ozu. And also this sort of like future world, it's very grounded and down to earth. Like it's kind of these suburban houses, and it seems like we're in America, but everything looks very like Japanese inspired, just the way the houses are situated. So it seemed just remember, I think Kogonada also really likes Ozu, so I think he's a big influence. Uh, but yeah, it was a beautiful movie, definitely right up my alley. Like Blade Runner type, like similar themes, with artificial intelligence and consciousness and what it means to be alive, what it means to be human, stuff like that. And yeah, just overall, really great movie. And based on when this comes out, A Big Bold Beautiful Journey is currently in
Yeah.
theaters and it's kind of getting not good reviews. And I haven't seen it yet, so I want to see it soon. I will hopefully be seeing it soon. But yeah, the bad reviews put a little damper on it, but I'm still excited for it. Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie and Kogonada. How could it go wrong? I guess I'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also pretty excited for this one. I think that's pretty cool. I think it looks right up my alley, and I have also seen kind of the reaction online, and I'm like, okay, I haven't gone to see it yet, but I do want to, right? Like I don't
Hmm.
want that to stop me.
The
Um,
same thing happened to me with him, where I was curious
yeah,
about it and it's gotten bad reviews and uh yeah, I don't know. That just so it kind of put me off like rushing out to see it.
yeah. I actually both those movies kind of the same vibe. I mean, I think uh we obviously you try not to let that stuff get to you, but also sometimes it's a nice warning to not like waste some time. I mean, not that it's necessarily a waste of time, but you can watch something that you might end up enjoying better.
Yeah. And also like we're not professional critics. We have jobs and
Yeah.
not
And
unlimited time to just watch as many movies as possible. So,
and it kind of costs money, right? Like to go to the movies.
yeah.
I mean, I pay for the monthly thing, but it generally like you're paying for tickets to go to the
Yeah.
movies. So like at least until
And
it's on
time.
streaming, whatever. But
Yeah, and time.
Right.
Crucial.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Nice.
that's it. After Yang, fantastic movie. Loved it.
Nice. Um, well, I'll throw in there. So I'm sticking with my theater route here, and I'll say I just went to go see It Doesn't Get Any Better Than This, which is a long name for
I
a
don't know what that
movie.
is.
It's a movie that technically released in 2023, I guess. Made by a couple of people. It's a found footage movie that they've the creators have
I'm
vowed
out.
to.
I'm out.
Yeah, yeah, you're out. I know,
I'm
I
out.
know.
Found footage.
They vowed to never put it on streaming. Um, and
Ah.
so there's when it gets to cities, I think people in that niche are pretty excited to go see it. I think it's pretty, I would say, well um anticipated in like the found footage niche, but I would say it's also okay. There's some cool stuff. It does not rely on jump scares at all, which is awesome. It's very patient with its shots and with its scares, and I think that's pretty cool. But I also think I mean, I think the idea of not putting it on streaming is one of two things, right? It's like, and it could be both, right? Or a mix, but it's like, okay, there's like this idea that streaming is like not the best thing that's happening right now, right? Like, whatever, right? Avoid that. Go physical media after you're done in theaters. Spend a long time in theaters. Go physical media or whatever. There's also like the we're not oblivious to FOMO, right? Right now, that's like everything
Mhm.
right now is like blaring on your phone. It's like, don't miss out on this 10-hour sale or whatever, right? Like you open up I think this is like Temu. I don't actually use Temu, but I see all these like things online where like you open up the app and it's like you have 10 seconds to click on this thing to get your $100 off coupon or something. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever. But so I think
It's
there's
a
like,
gimmick. It's a
yeah,
gimmick.
yeah. So there's like a mix here of those two things. And I think, I don't know if like, I don't know if it earned in my heart. It makes you go in with kind of high expectations, to like they're making this big claim that they'll never put it on streaming. And not that I don't think it was a good movie. I think it was good. I think if you're into found footage and it's near you, go to a theater. It's pretty much, it's like indie theaters that are doing this. So like go support your indie theaters. That's cool. Support indie filmmakers, but I think don't go in maybe with the highest expectations like I had. Like I kind of went in,
Mm.
I've been waiting for it to come to Boston, kind of had high expectations. I was like, you know, yeah, I've been waiting on it since like it premiered at TIFF and it got good reviews at TIFF and stuff. And
Mm.
back in 2023. But it was
Also,
kind of eh.
what is the title again?
It's called It Doesn't Get Any Better Than This.
Interesting. Very unmemorable title. Long and almost means nothing.
Yeah.
So really just I haven't seen the movie. Maybe it works for the movie, but as far as like trying to tell an audience to get them to see it, get them to remember it, I feel like it isn't a great title.
Yeah, it's really not. And also,
And that could be a rom-com, that could be anything.
yeah, it doesn't tell you. And there's kind of, I would say, a kind of cheap Blair Witch, um, like not, it's like more than an homage, it's kind of like just not the whole movie, but there's a scene in it that's kind of like a rip from Blair Witch. And it
Hmm.
feels kind of like, mm, I don't know. I don't know if
Where's
like,
the line between homage and just ripping it off, kind of?
yeah. And I don't know if I felt that this did a service to that imagery or if it just felt like it was trying to use it. Right.
Gotcha. Well,
Anyways,
speaking
so
of gimmicks, I want to mention our next episode, which probably should have mentioned this at the top. We are seeing one battle after another. And actually, so this episode will come out on Thursday. And hope in just a few days after that, we'll be seeing one battle after another in theater, in VistaVision.
yes.
There's a theater in Boston, the Coolidge Corner Theater, one of the only theaters doing presenting it in VistaVision in the
Yeah, I
whole
think
country.
there's four, right? It says so.
I
It's
think
one
so,
of
yeah.
four.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that is really cool. We saw that. We were able to get some tickets. So we'll be seeing it and we'll be trying to get our review out probably earlier than next Thursday. We're probably going to try to release it as soon as possible just to get it out there. But yeah, kind of cool that we'll have a unique experience and perspective on one battle after another. It's getting incredible reviews. So and it has it has a gimmick, the VistaVision, and I don't know. I kind of like the IMAX and the 70 mil, like all this stuff. I like it. It doesn't feel like a
Yeah.
gimmick to me because it makes it legitimately like a special event, it feels like, So I don't mind it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I think that'll be a cool episode. So maybe should have said this at the top. But keep your eye, subscribe and follow us wherever so you can see that episode when it comes out soon.
Yes, and also if anyone's in the Boston area, and if you're excited about One Battle After Another, the Coolidge Corner Theater is an awesome indie theater that you can go to, and I don't know if they'll still have tickets. In all fairness, right? Like
Yeah.
I imagine it's probably selling out, but take a look, see if you can. Um, I don't know, and I have no idea about the other theaters that are doing this, so they could be anywhere, but it's a pretty cool opportunity to see a movie in VistaVision. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm sure it's in like New York and LA, and also if you can't see it in VistaVision, just watch the movie. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I'm sure that you'll still enjoy the movie and like it's cool. But
Yeah.
I feel like the marketing makes it seem like, oh, you gotta see it this way or that way. And it's like if you just see it in a normal theater that's like your favorite theater near you, you'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Saying that you have to see it this way when it's only available in four theaters is a pretty tough sell. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But that
Um,
that goes to the FOMO marketing
right.
that people are going for, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, was there anything else you wanted to mention before I got one I can
Um,
mention, but
I have one more. So you want to do yours and I'll do my final one?
sure. I watched Padre Pio, which is Abel Ferrara movie about uh Saint Pius from Italy, and Shia LaBeouf plays Padre Pio, and yeah, it's set in right after World War One. There's really two different stories that are thematically connected, but there's Shia LaBeouf playing Padre Pio, the titular Padre Pio, in a Franciscan monastery, I guess, and his sort of personal struggles with visions of the devil, with you see him doing performing mass or confession with people, stuff like that. And then also there is a story about the first elections held in Italy and the socialists versus the fascists, and the working people trying to sort of rally the working class to vote, and stuff like this. And you see the sort of socialist party forming and stuff like that. And I really liked it, but also this is like all thematically and topically stuff that I like. It appeals to me. So if none of that sounds interesting, if you hear that description and you're like, that sounds like it sucks, you probably don't want to watch the movie. The cinematography is very like handheld, very a lot of close-ups. It feels pretty like DIY, which is kind of Abel Ferrara's like thing. He was making like DIY, like, grungy movies in New York and stuff. Also, the titular Padre Pio, not even in like half the movie. I would say over 50% of the movie is the political storyline as compared to the Padre Pio storyline, which is a bit of a weird choice. But Shia LaBeouf, really good performance. He's a really good actor. Maybe I don't know. He gives a really good performance. That's all I'll say about it. But yeah, I really like the movie. But if that doesn't sound interesting to you, I wouldn't recommend it necessarily. But I do think it's worth checking out. But it's kind of also a movie where it has a lot of these religious themes, but then a lot of religious people are very uh maybe not open to like things that could be considered like offensive, I guess, or just like bad language or nudity or bad things happening, but part of the movie is like these visions of bad things happening, and there that you see bad things. It's because Abel Ferrara doesn't exactly hold back in any of his movies, so it's kind of a movie that doesn't necessarily. It's really just his own perspective. It's a unique thing, which is nice, which I like, but it has like a vulgarity that you wouldn't see in like some random faith-based movie that's supposed to appeal to, you know, Christian families in the Midwest, So it's but so it doesn't necessarily appeal to super wide audiences, I don't think, but I really enjoyed it. And it's currently streaming on Amazon Prime. I think it leaves Prime in a few days. I don't know if it'll be streaming anywhere else. But if anyone has it and they want to watch it, you got a few days left for probably the end of September. That's what the month it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's still September.
Yeah.
Um, actually, it's kind of, I don't know, man. Time's weird. Anyways,
Yeah.
nice, interesting. Um, well, my last one is a short one. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this one, but it's continuing my George Romero watch through. I finally watched Night Riders, which is a long movie. It's okay, it's 147 minutes, which doesn't sound that long, but I tell you, this is a long movie.
I mean, two and a half. I will say I saw you put. I think you gave this 2 stars on Letterboxd, and 2.5 hour long movie, 2 stars. Rough.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah.
This was a
And
surprising low point for me for Romero.
I saw when I saw that you gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd, I looked at it because I wasn't familiar with the movie, and it does appear to be about LARPers.
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, this is strange. I mean, this is like
From the
Romero
from the
makes
cover
like
art, you'd think it was about like a maybe a guy on a motorcycle time travels, Army of Darkness
yeah,
style.
or yeah, Army of Darkness, or even like something like Ghost Rider or something like that, like something crazy, weird.
Mm.
No, it's just LARPers that are also like a bike gang LARPer people that it's well, that's it. It's them just doing their stuff for a few days. And there's like some tension in the royalty of the LARPers and there's a little tension with like the cop there, right? There's like one sheriff. And um it was dreadfully boring. And I really don't see like any Romero flair here. Like I see more in like the OJ documentary and like amusement. Like if you want to watch some of Romero's more interesting early stuff, like there is amusement park. There's Martin. Even I mean, hell, even like Hungry Wives and There's Always Vanilla are like they at least have a lot of his flair to them, like his editing prowess at the time, right? Like at the time he was editing these movies, and I think those two are like really good shows of what he's. And I think this is kind of like he's like he's like okay, I can do all these different things. Let me make like a sort of modern take on a fantasy epic or something,
Mm.
and it's not that, or maybe it is, but
Mm.
it's not a good version of that. Um, and the good news for me is that the Romero watch through is getting to a point where I'm actually getting to like objectively good movies again. Um,
Are
like
you
I've
are you going to be rewatching all of the like Dawn of the Dead or okay, or Land of I know you did all of the Deads recently.
yeah, so I am gonna watch. I'm not gonna watch the of the Deads, but I do have next up is Creep Show. I'm excited for Creep Show. I've got Monkey Shines after that, which I'm excited about. Two Evil Eyes, The Dark Half. Like some
All
the
horror. So this will be good for getting into October,
yeah.
Halloween season.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Night Riders is like his last non-horror thing. He like takes so he gets back to horror with like the Crazies, Martin, Dawn of the Dead, and then Night Riders comes out afterwards, and it's a it's a weird shift, and it feels again, it just kind of feels not very Romero-y. Like I don't know. I wasn't very impressed, I would say. But I'm excited for
Gotcha.
finishing up his stuff that I'm more excited about now. It's funny because I picked to watch through all of his stuff, and I think I've actually already seen like all. I could have just watched like a couple of more ones of his and
Mm.
probably been pretty satisfied. But
Yeah.
I'll say that it was interesting to watch some of the early ones. I think Knight Rider is the only one where I'm like, if I just didn't watch that, I actually would still. I I got nothing out of that
You
movie.
gain nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I get
I think
that.
2 stars was
Tough.
like generous, but
That's tough.
there's like a lot of stuff going on. I don't know, like they got people to do things, and that was cool, I guess. Like
The camera captured images, the microphones captured sound. That's good.
yeah.
Um, do you have a plan for like after you finish the Romero filmography? Are you going to watch any other particular director?
You know, I've got this. I've got a crazy. My next plan, I think, is to just finish up the box that I have. Like I have the Criterion 40th
Oh,
box or the 40
yeah, yeah.
whatever box, and I've only kind of selectively watched a few things, and I'm like I should probably just and like this Romero thing I'm going really slow on, so probably similar, but like that might be my next goal is watch
Nice,
through that.
nice. That will be cool. There's a lot of good movies in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So
All
it'll
right.
be
Well,
quite a change from Romero to watching Night Riders to watching you know
eight and a half. Yeah.
yeah 8.5.
Yeah, and speaking of Criterion Collection quality movies, time to talk about some Tubi Originals. So the name of the episode, I believe, even though it's called Muru, I think we're going with the Slade.
The Slade, right? Yeah,
So should
because
we should
yeah.
we talk? What do you would you rather talk about Muru first or the Slay?
Um, let's talk Slay first. The
All
Slade.
right,
Yeah, let's start there. This is
all
your
right.
pick.
Yeah, Slay. This was my pick. This is so. Yeah, maybe before we get into the movies, I did do something as I was watching these movies. I did a breakdown of the ad breaks on Tubi.
Oh, dude, I thought about doing this, but
I
I just didn't. But
I did a little mini analysis, and I figured both of these movies are about an hour and 40 minutes, give or take a few
yeah.
minutes. And both movies had, well, actually, Muru had two ads before it started, and Slay just had one 30-second ad before it starts. And then once the movie started, uh, each of them had five ad breaks. It was the same for both movies. And like the first one happened about 21 minutes in to both movies. And I think they do a good job of placing them between scenes rather than
Hmm.
just in the middle of like dialogue or whatever. And they also give you the little 10-second uh timer of
Warning.
the ad's coming. But so there would be one at about 20 minutes, another at about maybe 35 minutes, then another about 50 minutes. So you get 20 minutes and then a 15-minute and a 15-minute like gap of movie. And then you get another 15 minutes for about, and then there's another one at about an hour five. And then you get 20 minutes, another one about an hour 20 or 25 in, and then you finish the movie. So, and each ad break was between 4 and 6 ads per break.
Yeah.
And so it's basically like 2 to 3 minutes of ads per ad break. So if we're talking about 25-ish ads on the so it's probably an extra 12 to 13 minutes on the runtime of just getting through the ads. You're probably pulling out your phone. That is the to be experience. I don't know how this varies. Like if you watch a 3 hour movie, are you also getting five ad breaks or are you getting like 10 ad breaks? You know?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think one thing is I just ultimately don't watch all that much on Tubi. I do, I mean, I Tubi's nice that it's free, so whatever we can, right? But um yeah, it's I mean,
I,
how much yeah, I don't know. It's
Tubi
that's an
has a
interesting
lot.
question.
Tubi has a lot of great movies on there, and uh, if it works for people and they don't mind the ads and they can have easy access to all these great movies, then I'm happy for that, and I'm glad that that happens. But I find myself not wanting to watch things that are on Tubi, especially
Mhm.
if it's like a classic movie that oh man, I've been really wanting to watch this for a long time. I don't know if I want all the ad breaks. Breaking this up.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, I think again, like, yeah, it's nice that it is free and streaming and available, right? Blah blah. But um,
Blah blah
I mean,
blah, whatever.
yeah, but there are like, I mean, I think good options for getting access to movies that you really want to see in like a good form includes like local libraries, right? If you
Yeah.
can go to your local library, they often have a good selection. I mean, I can't speak for every library, but many have a good selection of DVDs or Blu-rays. Some even like here in Boston, the Boston Public Libraries have like criterions and stuff that you can check out.
Yeah.
Um, and many libraries, if they don't have the thing you want, you can like request it. I know like maybe you don't want to wait and stuff, that's fine. But like this is a great option because then you also get the physical thing that has the special features and all this stuff. And um, I think while Tubi and these other like Freevee or whatever are
Mhm.
nice that they're accessible and free and whatever, anyone can access them at any point. They are also, yeah, they're distracting, right? Like I do when the ads, I don't want to listen to the ads. I would much rather spend the time on my phone doing, well, probably looking at ads on something else, I guess. But uh
Yeah.
yeah,
Scrolling past ads.
exactly. Yeah. But
Yeah,
so
and they're annoying. The ads they're just annoying. They suck. You got to mute them. You gotta, and then you gotta check every once in a while, make sure the movie hasn't started again.
then you're
It
rewinding because you're inevitably miss a second or two.
it's not the ideal way to watch a movie. I definitely rather, even if the library only has DVDs, not Blu-ray,
Yeah.
I think a DVD with no ads is better than even like HD with ads.
Yeah. I think even I honestly like I don't know where the line is, right? Like even 4K, like Tubi doesn't have 4K. But if I could watch something in 4K on Tubi versus having the DVD of it, the DVD has generally it'll have those special features. It'll also
Commentary usually.
commentary. It'll have interesting stuff on there. And it's just going to be like a less disruptive experience, right? And you're not pulled away from the immersion, right? Which
Yeah.
which does hurt the experience. And so in the Tubi movie episode here, the Tubi Originals, one of the downfalls of this is that these two movies are only accessible with ads.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So are you able to like rent these on other platforms or are they just on Tubi? I didn't even look because I didn't think about it, but
I didn't look
I don't
either.
know.
I
Oh.
think my guess, I'm going to look right now, but my guess is that they might just be on Tubi.
I mean, that's what you'd think they might just be on Tubi, right? I mean, that
Slay is just on Tubi.
wow.
Um,
That's kind of a shame. And I'm sure there's
yeah.
no physical release for these movies either. So, but it is probably maybe just in the US. I mean, Muru, maybe I'm sure it was released like theatrically in New Zealand at least, and maybe it is a little more accessible there.
It's possible. It's interesting because one of the other downfalls of like streaming any streaming exclusive one, whether this is Netflix or an ad-based streaming service, is also regional availability, right? Like technically, I guess this happens with DVDs and Blu-rays too, but like in theory, if you want that physical version, you can likely get the region that you want it for. Not always,
Cool.
but generally. But many people need to like use VPNs to watch these things. So I don't even know,
Yeah.
these are Tubi originals for here in America. I imagine you can watch Muru if you're in New Zealand. That would be strange if you can't, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea how Tubi works internationally. I don't know I just don't know how that works. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Also, one thing,
Mhm.
if Tubi is listening,
Yeah.
I think a significant way. Now, I've watched these two movies. I checked when the ads were happening. Now I kind of get it of when they're coming. But before, I was a little in the dark. Like, how do the Tubi ads work? How many ad breaks am I getting? I wasn't sure if it was five every time. Am I going to get four? Am I going to get six? And sometimes I'd be getting toward the end of the movie and I thought I was done with the ads. And then you get hit with one more and you're like, oh, fuck. And but on some other apps, like Hulu, for example, there will be ad breaks, which sucks. But at the beginning of the movie, if you show the timeline, it shows when the ad breaks are going to happen. And so you can see, like, all right, there's going to be two toward the beginning, one a little in the middle, and then the second half of the movie doesn't have any ads. Like, that's usually how Hulu does it, from what I've noticed. And just having the dots there, just so I know what to prepare for, is such a big, like, benefit to me, at least. I don't know if other people would agree with that. I think it's so helpful just because then I know what to expect. And I'm not like feeling like I got tricked. Like, they got me with another fucking ad break, Like, so I think just putting that in the timeline of the movie would benefit the user experience a lot.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one option. I mean, I think I understand not wanting to put all the ads, just front loading them all, because you probably just, I'm gonna imagine the company makes less money from that. But that's also a nicer thing to do. Like we don't really want ad breaks, like, but is there an option where we can just front load them? Like
Oh
um
yeah. Oh, it'd be nice, yeah, if you could just be like, all right, show me 20 ads before the movie starts, and then no ad or something or even, dude, I'd put it on 100 ads. Well, and that would be if it's 30 seconds each, that's 50 minutes of ads. And you know what I would do? I'd go for a walk, I'd make dinner, I'd
mhm.
shower, I'd play with my dog, I'd touch grass. And then
And then you
I
come back in,
and then
yeah.
49 and a half minutes later, I'd go back and I'd be done. I mean, obviously this if Tubi's listening, I hope they're not anymore, because I just told them why not to do that, because no one would ever watch those ads. But I would love that, because then you could just leave it on, leave it running, and then they make their money. I don't have to watch ads, and I get to watch the movie. So that would be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Because realistically, I'm not watching the fucking ads.
yeah,
I mute
no matter
them
what.
and I look at my phone. I don't want to watch them. They're annoying. I hate them. So
Yeah.
it
I
is what it is.
I probably have a worse view on like on things that I know interrupt my immersion in a movie than if I didn't see that thing in an ad, like
Mm.
um but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
fuck Wegovy. Every
yeah,
time I'm on fucking Hulu, I get a fucking Wegovy ad. Now I'm giving them more whatever publicity to our 10
yeah,
viewers. But
sponsored by Wagovi.
yeah, but I don't even know I don't know shit about it. All I know is that it keeps propagandizing me and trying to brainwash me. So fuck you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I
how I
think
feel.
I don't know. Like I think there could be an option too of like, not that everyone would want to do this, but like could we like fucking like force me to interact with like two ads at the very beginning of the movie? So that I'm interacting with those things. And then don't show me any. Like I
Mm.
don't know, like
Okay.
something.
This has nothing to do with Tubi. I need to
Yeah.
rant about this that's been happening to me recently. And maybe I should just pay for YouTube Premium. Maybe I'm being cheap and this is
I know you're
self-inflicted.
saying they're doing it more.
They're it's not even that they're doing it more. Many times a day now, I will click on a YouTube video, and at the very beginning of the video, there is a bereaved parent of a
Yeah.
child who's been murdered in a school shooting, and they start off by talking about how their child was murdered by some fucking insane person.
The
And
shooter that took my port, whatever.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and there's multiple of them, and they're before every fucking YouTube video now. And it's a tragedy. I feel
Yeah.
bad for the parents. I even would
Of
probably agree
course.
with what they're trying to do, but I'm trying to watch a fucking video about the new fucking Batman movie, and now you're telling me about. I mean, I there's a time
Yeah.
and a place, kind of, and it's just and this is what happens with ads. It happens over and over and over. Or I watch basketball. When you watch the NBA, any national game, it's the same fucking ads the whole time. The whole playoffs, they have like 5 ads. And it's the same one over and over again. And by the end of it, everyone hates all the ads. Any player that's in an ad, people are talking shit about him. The companies, people hate them. And maybe that's what the companies want. They want the negative attention, almost like a Trump thing. No
Yeah.
such thing as bad publicity. But it's just it's horrible.
Yeah. It's interesting because like here in America, people at least used to, I think still do, maybe. I don't really know, but I think people get excited for football ads, football Super
It's
Bowl
it's
ads.
just the Super Bowl, yeah.
And I don't understand. It's like companies pay millions of dollars to actors and whatever. Like they do this big thing for one ad that they play. And then I'm sure it gets reused eventually or something, maybe. But like, and it's like everyone is like here is like conditioned to think like, yeah, I'm so excited to see what these brands that I that I already am gonna buy. I'm so excited to see what they're gonna put on my TV during the football game. They're gonna pay millions of dollars to show me the charm bears wiping their butts, but they're gonna use a football to wipe their butt. And it's like,
Yeah.
what? Why are we so excited about advertisements?
Yeah, I am. I wonder how that started. It's like that is a very successful psyop that worked,
Yeah,
like, and truly did, like, everyone was very interested, genuinely interested. And maybe part of it is the Super Bowl was a big thing. People would get together for parties. The like people who didn't care about the Super Bowl itself or the game itself wanted something else to care about, and they like pounced on that. But but yeah, it's very dystopian. I think the
yeah,
advertising industry is like completely soulless and a complete leech on society. They contribute nothing. The only benefit of ads is that you can watch some things for free. But
yeah.
then they make the experience horrible so that you don't want to do it.
Right.
So, and they contribute nothing to society at all. And it's all just these big corporations just trying to brainwash us 24/7. And it makes people antisocial, and it makes people hate society. And I think these companies are fucking awful. And I understand there are people working for these companies that they're just trying to make a living. I don't blame necessarily all the employees at these companies or anything like that. But just the industry itself is, I think advertising and insurance companies, like specifically like health insurance companies, are the biggest leeches on society, that if the all those companies disappeared, the world just immediately becomes such a better place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I think just the idea that like there's these huge industries, many millions of dollars for companies to just figure out how to best infiltrate your brain,
Yeah,
to make you know their name. And it's like that is it's discerning, right? I mean, think about, I know we're just like ranting here and we don't have to
that's
keep
fine.
going, but I want
Slay.
to like
Slay Ryan.
the so hear me out. The neurochip thing, not that I ever want to get one of these
Mm,
things, but like these things, it's like how long until like once people get something like that, or like smart glasses, right? Like those glasses
hmm
that have displays and stuff. Um,
You're
it,
getting ads in the corner of your screen,
yeah,
in your brain. You're getting ads.
yeah. You're gonna like ask those meta glasses something, and they're gonna be like, hold on, let me tell you about our sponsor Bounty before I tell
Oh,
you your
yeah.
answer. And
Yes.
I don't, anyways, whatever. Like as we get more into this idea of like how can we advance our bodies, right? And whatever.
Mm.
It's like uh, it's just a
And
matter of time.
and then here's another thing. We have a podcast. We post on YouTube. Are there ads on our YouTube? I don't think there are, because are we?
We're not monetized.
Yeah.
So it's a good question. I think in theory, they're I don't know, at one point in YouTube's life, if things
Right.
were not monetized, there were no ads. I don't know if that's still true.
Right. Like they could be putting ads and just pocketing all the money potentially.
Yeah, and they and YouTube fights so, we shouldn't be talking bad about YouTube right now, but YouTube
Oh,
fights
fuck
so
YouTube.
bad. They fight so hard against ad blockers. You know what's nice about
Mm.
Tubi? If you load up Tubi on your phone and stream it to your TV, if you have an ad blocker on your phone or stream it from your laptop onto there and you have an ad blocker, you're good.
That
Not that I encourage that, but I
No,
do.
we did no, we discourage that. That's not good to do. Don't do it. But
Yeah, we obviously just spent 30 minutes here talking about ads because we want you to watch them all.
yeah, it's actually we're trying to, the more we talk about ads, the more you think about ads, the more you like ads. We're
Yeah.
But
This is
yeah, I
actually
mean, but
the
also there is a thing of podcasts having ads in them, and the host reading them and stuff like that. And a very nice thing on podcast apps is that the little 30-second skip button. I love the 30-second skip button. And on a
Yep.
podcast, I'll skip it and then I'll be like, oh, I went a little too far. That's fine.
Yeah.
I missed 30 seconds of the podcast. I'll be okay. Uh, so that is really nice that exists on
Yeah.
podcast apps. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's also something we kind of have to contend with a lot. I'm not that we make any money on this at this point anyway, but if we ever do, that's why I kind of like the idea of Patreon. The
Yeah.
idea of people, if you want to support, you will, you'll get XYZ benefits, and you can support the creators without necessarily just sitting through these soulless ads.
Yeah, I like that too. I think it's a nice idea. I think, I mean, again, like,
You
and
just
to
need an audience.
right, and to the credit of the people that are making podcasts that have advertisements. I love many podcasts that have advertisements. You
Oh
gotta do
yeah,
what you
me
gotta
too.
do. You know, get
Yeah,
that
they
money.
yes, I don't necessarily blame them for having ads or anything like that. And it
Right.
is easy enough to skip. Like it doesn't, but it does disrupt the experience.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
some podcasts can make them funny enough, and to where you're like, okay, I'll listen to this. But then if you're listening to the same podcast and you hear the same ad over and over, you're gonna start skipping it eventually.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing, right? Like there's like a couple of YouTube channels that I've seen where like their ads are actually just like it's annoying. Not it's actually really good. They do it really well where it's like somehow embedded really well into the story or whatever they're doing, but it's annoying how good they
Oh,
do at that. I'm like,
that's
they got me.
sneaky.
They got me.
That is
They got me. Like,
Yeah, they're like, oh, speaking of quantum entanglement, here's
yeah.
quantum.com where you can
Yeah, yeah.
find your match with quantum.com or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a little shisty to me.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think that
Anyways,
should maybe be illegal. When the ad starts, you need to like it needs
notify
to be
people.
marked. Yeah, it needs
Yeah.
to be a distinct marker, I feel like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
well, anyway,
Anyways, we've talked a lot
anyway,
about
that
ads.
well, it's funny because we're talking about Tubi. That
Yeah,
is just a core element of the Tubi experience. You
it
can't get
is.
around it. It's like front of my mind. Anytime I think about Tubi, I'm like, oh, the ads. Like I'm dreading them. And you know what it is sometimes with these fucking ads? They're so loud.
Yeah.
Are the
They do not regulate the volume. It's
they?
annoying.
Yeah, they need to get it so where it's equivalent to the movie.
Which
The ads will fucking blare.
and crazy thing. My fiance was telling me one time that there was a
Humble brag.
law. There was wait, what?
I said humble brag.
Yeah. That
Fiance.
that there was a law at one point, and this might still be
Yeah.
true or whatever, that TV advertisements cannot be like disproportionately louder than the content that they're embedded in.
Mhm.
But I don't think that seems to apply at all to streaming because every streaming service will be different, but many of
Oh my
them the
gosh.
ads are so much louder.
Hulu is the worst. It's so loud. It's horrible. Actually, it's I feel like maybe YouTube
Yeah,
is kind of bad with it, but not as bad.
yeah, it's hard to tell. I don't know.
I feel
Uh,
like Hulu's the worst.
yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy that like yeah, I mean, I don't know. You really think people want to pay attention if you're gonna, blast it in the ear right away? Um, anyway, so I think I mean realistically, all this stuff that we're talking about, we kind of need. I think we need like regulation a little bit more on advertisement, but not that I'm a very pro government
Yeah.
regulation, but like, um,
No, we probably in America we need more government regulation on more things. Could regulate fucking guns, fucking
eh,
advertising, these insurance companies.
yeah,
I mean,
definitely,
geez, man. They,
definitely,
yeah, we
yeah.
but the thing is, our government is so corrupt that when it steps into anything, it actually makes things worse usually
That's the problem, right? Is like ideally,
because they're all bought out by the corporations that they're supposed to regulate.
well,
It's
and that's why
crazy.
there really is no regulation on a lot of things, right? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, like that's no secret with like the gun control stuff, but anyways, all right,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, our politicians are bought by fucking the NRA, the insurance companies, the fucking Israel or Saudi Arabia, all like
yeah, probably Ozempic at this point or Wegovy,
I'd
right?
say there's like, yeah, who knows? Who knows? They're probably I never mind. I don't know. I was gonna make some joke that like Ozempic, like I don't know, maybe they're gonna sponsor Chris Christie or something like that. Who's like the biggest politician? Like
Uh,
Grover Cleveland or something?
yeah.
Imagine.
Um,
Is he the really big oh no, Taft. He's the one who like got stuck in the bathtub, right?
I have no idea.
Taft got stuck in a bathtub. That's how large he was.
I believe it. I believe
Yeah.
it.
He needed Ozempic. This episode sponsored by Ozempic.
Yeah, this is
Who
actually this
who
huge
knows the
talk about
long-term
ads.
benefits? That's their
This
catchphrase.
this huge long-term ad here that we had, this huge long-term conversation about ads is actually just a sneaky way for us to sneak in our first sponsor.
Yeah. Sponsored by
Uh,
Ozempic. We don't know if it'll kill you, but you'll lose weight. We
yeah.
guarantee it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about the fucking movies now. Slay. I picked this
Yeah.
movie. This is starring four drag queens known as Trinity the Tuck, Heidi N Closet, Crystal Method, and Caramel. And they play four drag queens with different names, such as Mama Souffle, Robin Banks, Bella Du Bois, and Olive Wood. Which I will say, some of them, well, I guess they're anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like their real drag names are better than their
Way
characters'
better.
drag names. Yeah, but they are four drag queens going to what is supposed to be an awesome place to perform a drag show, but one of them booked the wrong venue, and they are in the middle of nowhere. And it's a biker bar in like rural, red state America, middle of nowhere. Kind of looks like the Southwest, maybe like I don't know, maybe West Texas type vibe, something like that. Uh, and and then they get attacked by vampires, and that's basically the plot.
Yeah. And it kind of works. I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but it kind of works. It's
It's
kind of
pretty
campy.
funny.
Yeah.
It is very campy and fun. There I laughed a
Hmm.
bunch throughout the movie. A lot of vulgar jokes, a lot of jokes about fellatio, which was just a lot of them. That's just something I noted.
That's true.
Yeah, and yeah, it was a pretty funny movie.
Yeah. I will say, um, I think there's some good stuff in this movie. I was surprised because it felt campy and enjoyable in some ways, but then also um, there was some just annoying acting, I think,
Mm,
and I think it's tough. I mean, it's a low budget movie, obviously,
mm.
and I think it ultimately does pretty well with its budget. Uh, it it uses practical effects pretty well when it can. It doesn't show you like there's this one scene where like it's just all the characters kind of watching through an open door and they're saying
Yeah,
like, oh my god, he's throwing a car. And then at one
yeah.
point, and there's all this stuff going on, and then at one point somebody goes, wow, the budget to make all this happen would be insane or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously
There,
they can't do all that.
yeah, there is some rough CGI blood throughout that I noticed. But yeah, it has a good charm to it, even the not good effects. Like it is an independent movie, and
Yeah.
the parts that are rough around the edges kind of add to the charm in some ways. The main thing that did not work for me was the music. I don't know if this was a real roadblock for me in several scenes where the music would abruptly change to
Mm,
match a change in tone. It was like really on the nose, like, oh, we're gonna have an emotional moment. We're gonna play the, try to tug at your heartstrings music, and then we're gonna switch to this. And there was actually a moment where I think it's Bella is on stage dancing to a song, and the song stops, and we put in some kind of random, like not that good, kind of sounds like royalty free music during, and then, well, vampires attack during the performance. And it seems very obvious to me that you have the rights to the pop song.
yeah.
You could play the pop song through
Choreographed.
the action scene, and that would be fun. It's not like the most unique thing. A lot of movies do that, but it's better than just randomly switching to like a worse score. And then even maybe during that scene, there may have been another time where like the score, I don't know. There are a lot of music decisions that uh did not work for me. So that was my main, like, the thing that was just bothering me in multiple scenes.
Yeah. And that's tough, especially with like a drag movie, because I think a lot of drag culture is the music, right? And And
Yeah,
being able
dancing.
to
I
yeah, right, dancing, choreography to all that stuff, like choreography to all that stuff, like that's an important piece.
Yeah, and obviously it's been done a lot before, the action scene to a pop song that's like pretty overdone at this point, but it seems like just like a layup. Like
Yeah,
and the way they went about not doing it just did not work to me.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. And there's times where it's like, um, yeah, like there's just like action going on, and I would say the music generally when there was any action, like the final fight scene too. I remember, um, I didn't really think I kind of didn't like the final fight scene to be honest, but part of that also the music was pretty bad during it. Like that one, I definitely recognize the music there as being like very subpar for what I was hoping in that moment. You
Hmm.
know, because like yeah, it's like the climax of the movie, and eh,
Yeah. Yeah, I do think also, as someone who went to film school and tried to make some like short films and stuff, having good sound design is extremely difficult. And like it's the whole, I don't know, in most movies, you're kind of not even supposed to notice the sound design. But if
yeah,
anything is wrong, any like it's so obvious like to the audience. And I wonder if like they're having if issues with designing the sound in the action scenes. And so they felt like they had to put music on top of it in order to like compensate for that. Um, but I just felt like it was a lot of music, and it was just weird how there'd be like action music, and then like during the action scene we're having a heartfelt moment and we're going to switch to heartfelt music, and then maybe we'll switch back to the original,
yeah,
like some not great, just did not work.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely a tough piece, right? I mean, I think for me, I probably that's definitely on the list of things I did not enjoy. But I think for me, it still honestly ends up being what are their names? The drag queen that gets turned into a vampire. Her name was
uh Bella, the
Bella.
yeah,
Bella
she's
and
sort of the goofy airheaded one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and is it Jax, the patron at the bar that's kind of with her
Yes.
for much of it? Yeah.
The oh
Or no, the other one.
yes, yeah, you're right, yeah,
Yeah.
it is Jax.
The two of them I found very annoying, and I thought the acting was also very annoying.
Mm,
Which when you're playing an annoying character, I don't know if
I
it's like the acting or the character itself, but they both didn't seem very good here.
That is interesting. I did feel so in the bar there are these two, there's a gay guy and a lesbian woman. That's what I think that's how they appear
Oh,
in the movie. And they maybe that's wrong. I don't know. I don't want to
I
assume things. It's
no, I don't
2025.
know.
I can't I don't know. I don't know. That's what they appeared to be to me. And they're like together and they're like, "Oh, nothing ever happens in this like shitty town. Like we're so happy that
Right.
you're here." That's part of the reason that they stay. Those two characters definitely like I don't know. There's like the romance between the gay guy and I think it's Olive is the character. Oh no,
Uh,
wait, Robin.
Olive, yeah, yeah, Robin.
Yeah, Robin is the Olive is the one who's sort of ends up going off on her own toward the end.
Yeah.
She's kind of the badass. But yeah, Robin and the gay guy kind of have like a little romance thing going on, and it was like, it wasn't that interesting. I don't know. But I thought Crystal Method, which is a very funny name, I liked her character. I thought it was funny. It was extremely airheaded, which I found funny.
Interesting. Well,
I
I'm glad you liked
laughed.
it.
I
Yeah.
laughed. That was the whole point, was that she was real dumb.
Yeah. I don't think it hit for me that much, to be honest, but I'm glad it worked for you. I
That's
think
fair.
for me, the humor was peak at times where it was like when at one point, um somebody calls something, I don't know, the big macho guy is like trying to do something and somebody calls him a cishet and he goes, I'm no sissy. And
Oh,
like it was those moments where I was like pretty cracking up.
that is. That's funny. I liked that there was a guy named Fat Boy, and that's his
Yeah,
credit. That's his credited name. It's
amazing.
Fat Boy. Yeah. Um,
Um, I like
I
Dusty. Dusty was awesome.
yeah. Dusty is the bartender and owner,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, yeah. I think his character was probably the most interesting in the
yeah,
movie, as far as like a genuinely interesting character. Um, yeah, I agree.
yeah. Because like at the beginning, it's like you can tell that he's kind of like into the music, even though like he there's like moments of him like dancing along a little bit, and then as more and more goes on, he reveals that like he tried to like uh dress in drag when he was really young, and his dad like obviously was not having that, and so he kind of repressed all that stuff, um and so there's kind of like this queer identity that's coming out of him during this whole movie, and so that whole character arc was just like really interesting. Probably the maybe the best character piece in the movie altogether.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was probably the most effective character arc. I guess maybe like the homophobic guy sort of I like that he doesn't become like, oh, I'm a good person now. He's still kind of a dick, but
Yeah.
he's a little bit better, you know? I like that they didn't go full on, oh wow, they're best friends by the end of the movie, you know?
Yeah. Skipping down the street together, arms locked.
Yeah, right. That yeah.
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 Yeah. The vampire design in this movie was also a kind of note because at first you see the vampire on like the side of the road or whatever that attacks the guy, the delivery
There's the
driver.
cold open. Rufus, played by an actor named Shane. So shout out
Whoa.
to Shane John Kruger. Also, his name is Shane John Kruger, but Shane is just a variant of Sean, and Sean is a variant of John. So in a way, his name is John John
Wow, dude.
or Shane Shane, either way.
Or
Yeah.
Shane.
Or meet in the middle, Sean Sean.
That's wow. That's like the brain meme.
Yeah.
Different levels. Anyways.
So shout out to Shane John Kruger. Sorry for making fun of your name. You were good. I thought he was pretty good as Rufus. He's like the first, but yeah, yeah. He gets turned by this like really creepy looking. It's sort of like the alpha vampire or something like that. I don't know. And that's the one that Olive,
Mm-hmm.
well, played by Caramel, plays. I kind of would rather refer to them as their real drag names because it's way funnier.
Yeah.
Caramel fights the alpha vampire at the end. And then
Yeah.
that's sort of like, does that like remove the curse from them? Is that how it happens?
No, no.
Oh,
She fights
okay.
him, she kills him, and then she goes back. She finds garlic. Because
Oh yeah, she gets the garlic. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And also this is another like just funny piece about the movie is like just the circumstances. Like it's at the bar and there's like no food in the bar. There's no
Right.
garlic, there's no wings, like all this stuff. Like just I guess because the delivery maybe was that the idea, but just funny circumstance. And there's like the hole in the window, but it's actually just the whole window's missing, and they have like a plank of wood going across it, but it like
Interesting.
doesn't cover anything.
I'm not gonna lie,
um
it kind of just looked like a crummy bar, and I kind of just didn't question any of that.
I think some of that was intentional, like when there's also a moment when I think her name's Sheila, was supposed to be like she's like guarding a window, and the guy tells her to barricade it, and then he comes
Yeah.
back later and he's like, all right, let's go finish up the barricade or something. And then it's like it takes it so long for this thing to actually get barricaded, and it's just like a recurring bit. And
Mm.
I thought it did pretty good at like dragging back some of those recurring bits. Um, and so those were good moments for me.
Mm.
And of course that actually comes back because she got bit through the window
Yeah.
because she didn't barricade it in time,
Right.
which was
Yeah.
funny. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so the alpha vampire. Sorry, I went on a tangent there, but
That's okay.
she finds the garlic there for some
Right.
reason. Don't know why the guy was hanging
Rufus
out.
was delivered. Maybe he had a bunch of
Oh,
garlic in his truck.
yes, you're right. It was the delivery truck. So she finds the garlic. She brings it back to save everyone, and she puts it in the sprinkler system, which is kind of a cool idea.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
she sets off the alarm, and they run into the garlic water fire system thing. Um, so that was kind of interesting. The ending felt it's a very predictable movie towards the end. Um, but I don't know. It's hard to blame movies when they're predictable, especially like a campy movie. Like I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of yeah, by the end I was kind of like, all right, whatever. Uh my main issues with the movie were the music, and also there's a point in the movie where Crystal Method, her character Bella, is killed or seem
Yeah,
everyone thinks she's dead. And they're like sad for like 2 minutes, and then there are multiple scenes afterwards where the vibe does not match. Oh, one of your close friends just died in front of your eyes. Like everyone is like they move on way too quickly, and they're not acknowledging this. And obviously she comes back to life. That wasn't the biggest
yeah,
shocker ever. But yeah, I was like it I just don't think that was I think the tone was a little bit mismanaged there, where they kind of seemed like they moved on from their friend dying right in front of them very, very quickly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And also, it's weird that like they have this big argument when she's dead,
Yeah, like
and
almost over her dead body, I think.
yeah, and she's the only person in the whole movie that takes that long to turn. Like everyone else gets bit, and they're like
Mm,
either slowly becoming a vampire, they're not dead, right? Like they just slowly become a vampire, or they're just like a vampire like right away somehow. You know, like it seemed weird that like she was out for so long. I guess that's so you think maybe she actually did die, but like also
yeah.
did you actually think she died? You know, like um yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, so that was that. But
Yeah.
I will say they had WAP.
Yeah, they got the
What?
rights for WAP.
Yeah, they got the rights for WAP and Boss Bitch, I think, by Doja
Yeah,
Cat. So that was kind of surprising. I was like, wow, that must have been like
the whole budget.
most of the yeah, most of the
Yeah.
budget must have went to getting those songs. But
Which is funny
yeah,
considering that one of our main complaints is the music, because not for those songs, but just because
yeah.
they
The
got rights
rest
to,
of
yeah, like,
the rest of the music was not it wasn't even that the music was so bad, it's just the way it was used
yeah.
was kind of beating you over the head a lot.
Well, it's the same with these two songs. Like you said, like they could have had like a fight scene with one of the songs. Not that it would have been super original, but it kind of would have been good campiness, you know, like it's kind of why you're here, you know, like you're not here for the
Yeah.
most original thing in the world, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
And like, okay, sure, they did it in like Shaun of the Dead with the Queen song and all that. Or there's a million movies that have done that.
yeah.
But you haven't seen it with drag queens, right? And they
Yeah.
could kind of have it be whatever, you know. I feel like there was a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, I agree. Um, the speaking of it being drag queens, it was
Mm.
interesting the weapons they would make. Like they use their heels as
Oh
weapons is the
yeah.
main thing, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
because in this, the main lore, right, is that you have to stab the vampires in the heart and then
Yeah.
they turn to ash. And
With a wooden stake usually, right?
that's what it is normally, but in this it was anything. They could stab
Yeah.
them. The first one dies when it gets stabbed through the heart by one of the
Yeah.
beer
I a tap.
handles. Tap,
Yeah,
yeah.
tap handle, I guess. I assumed it was wood, but
It
maybe
might
it
have
wasn't.
been, but
But you're right. The heels, I guess, are not wood.
yeah,
Probably. What are they?
probably not.
Stilettos? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, I
I
don't know what
don't.
they're made out of.
I don't know either. Probably not
Probably
wood
not
though.
wood. Yeah,
Yeah.
but so it was kind of funny though to use those as a weapon. But yeah, it was. I mean, I think the gimmick here, right, that it's drag queens in this fight, right, it's an interesting gimmick. But do you feel like it was fully fulfilled? Do you think it was
Um.
deserving of the gimmick?
I mean, yeah. I guess
Oh,
so. I don't
yeah,
know. I haven't really necessarily thought of it on that term. I guess, but like in those terms. But I think if if you want to watch a movie with drag queens fighting vampires,
it did it.
it's what it is. You know, it's a little low budget, a little independent, it's a little rough around the edges, but it's not a bad movie. I laughed. I had a decent time. Maybe this is just me. I don't know. It didn't I don't know that it's gonna stick with me or this is anything I'm ever gonna go back to. Probably not. But you know, it was an enjoyable watch. And you know what? I watched this with my girlfriend, and uh maybe with like a larger group, like around Halloween, you have a party, you throw it on. If it's the right audience for that, then it'd probably be an even better time. The movie would probably be enhanced by that, like party atmosphere. Definitely a drinking game to this movie could be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think it definitely leans on a lot of like drag tropes of like um well, even just like terminology, right? They talk about tucking tape a lot, which is interesting, just saying.
Mm.
There's also
Yeah, they mentioned it at least once. I don't know if it was a lot, but
maybe just once, whatever.
because he walks in, Dusty walks in,
Yeah.
and she's like, "It's tucking tape" or whatever. Also,
Yeah.
we've been saying "she" for all of them. I think that this makes sense because, like, when they're
Yeah.
in drag, they're like "she." I think makes sense.
I think
But
so. Yeah.
sorry if we're using the wrong pronouns there, anyone. But we're
Yeah.
referring to them when they're in their drag persona, so I feel like it's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like there's is it Trinity the Tuck? Speaking of tuck tape, she's the leader, right? She's
Yeah, she's
kind of
like
the
the
leader of the group.
mother of the house, I
Yeah,
believe, is the
mama.
terminology.
And I feel like she does well, like kind of it feels like an actual like drag unit in a way. Like I don't know the inner workings of a drag team or whatever, but it feels like there's some interesting dynamics there. Um, Also funny that Bella gets changed like 3 times,
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
and the
Uh,
changing takes obvious like changing into drag. I assume takes forever.
Yeah, but a lot of it is, you put it on, well, I don't know. I guess she does have new makeup often, right? So that probably takes a long time. But I
Yeah,
feel like the outfit, like you could probably change a wig and a clothing rather quickly.
that's probably true.
But I think the makeup is the main, would take a lot of time.
Yeah,
But yeah, yeah, overall, I I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was funny.
I was surprised, certainly. Right? I mean, I we have to. I mean, I don't know. I certainly went into Tubi Originals not expecting too much when we pulled it.
Mm. Did you were you surprised by anything in the movie, or was it just that it was better quality than you expected?
I think that's a good question. I think mostly just better quality, right? Like I
Gotcha.
think there was like uh I don't and it's funny because there really wasn't like the writing wasn't great. Like the jokes were fine. Some of them were good, but some of them were most of them were fine. The effects were fine. Like the music was bad. The action wasn't great. Like I don't know, but like altogether it kind of just worked. It was like campy enough that it
Yeah,
felt fun.
yes, and also another thing in the movie, they know that shooting them with guns is ineffective, but they keep shooting them the whole movie. They never
Yeah.
stop shooting. I'm like, this doesn't work. Um, so that was a little bit annoying. But I think the campy tone and the silliness of it all
Yeah.
makes it so that when I'm watching it, I'm more able to forgive like some of the cheesy special effects or some of the like some of the dialogue is not great and it's like pretty cheesy. But if you're in this campy movie, I'm like, all right, well, whatever, and we'll get on to the next, crazy action scene, and then someone will say something ridiculous, and we'll move on. So I think because it is lighthearted and just trying to be fun, I was more able to forgive some of the issues with the movie.
Yeah, I agree. And for that reason, I think it surprised me. I mean, I think
That makes sense.
I don't think it's any specific thing, just the whole collective of it. Like it kind of worked better than I thought it would.
Good, good. Well, I guess, do we have anything else to say about Slay? It, the thing is, it kind of does what it says.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's not that much to say about it. And we also spend a lot of time talking about those ads, so we don't want a
Yeah.
3 hour episode.
Yeah. Not for the Tubi originals.
Nah.
No, I don't think there's all that much to say about. It's like kind of a gimmick movie, right? I mean, it's campy. I
It's
think
high concept for sure.
yeah. I think people might like it. I mean, I think one thing that I'll say is just that it doesn't have a lot of views on Letterboxd or
Mm.
a little spoiler for the rating recap here. There's no Rotten Tomatoes scores for this.
Oh, interesting.
like no audience or critic score for it. So I think maybe people could jump on it. I think it might be more interesting than, I mean, it's hard to like find a Tubi original, I imagine. But I would
Hmm.
actually kind of suggest this. Not that everyone will love it, but it could get a bigger audience.
Yeah, I think this is almost some sort of inverse of Padre Pio, but it's the same principle. If the concept sounds interesting to you, this might work for you. If it sounds like that has no appeal to you at all, you probably stay away.
Don't watch it.
Yeah, because some movies it's like I'm trying to think of an example, but there are some movies where you're like, I would never go out of my way to watch this, but maybe it has really great reviews, or maybe it's has an actor you like or a director that you like or something. And and it turns out like, oh wow, this was really great because it was really well made and all that. But a lot of other movies sort of your mileage may vary based on your personal taste. Um
This is definitely one of those.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So wait, did you give your rating?
I didn't, but I'll just say I'm giving it 2.5 stars. I think
That's what I'm giving it.
nice. I think it's fun. Yeah. I think some people will like it. I think the thing is, it only has 10,000 people that have seen it on Letterboxd
Yep.
and no Rotten Tomatoes scores. I think maybe I'm even being a little generous in hopes that people might jump on it just to give it a try. Um, if it's something they might be into. But
Yeah. And like I said,
it
I think around a Halloween party, that is maybe the best setting for this.
yeah, I could almost see like yeah. It's also, I mean, we were talking recently, I forget what movie, but we were talking about like, oh, Mad God. Like it's a movie you can kind of just put on, right?
Mm.
Like during a Halloween, like nobody needs to care about the plot. And this kind of similar where like
Mm.
you'll just hear like funny crap sometimes in the background and maybe you'll see like them a vampire like disintegrating into glittery dust or something.
Yep.
And it might just kind of be fun to have on during a party or something.
And I think maybe a factor in this is I don't know any of these four drag queens, but I believe they maybe all of them or most of them have been on like RuPaul's Drag Race and they're like somewhat like well-known drag queens. It's just that's not I just don't know much about that. I've never watched RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm not familiar with any of them, but maybe people who are familiar with them would enjoy and just get a kick out of seeing them in this movie. So,
Yeah, definitely. Well, the recap here is kind of short, the rating recap, because we only have an IMDb and a letterbox score, but we do have a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb and a 3.3 out of 5 on letterbox, which gives it a pretty good average of 6.55 average out of 10. Um,
I think that goes to show we're a little lower than that, and I think we're maybe outside of the target audience for the
yeah,
movie. And I feel like the people that went out to see it, to seek it out, probably this would are part of the target audience, so they probably enjoyed it a little more than us. So I think that
right.
makes sense.
And it's a hard movie, I feel like, to just stumble upon. You know,
Yeah,
it's kind of like we were talking about, I think, more Wolf House. We were kind of like, yeah, the people that have seen this probably like went out of their way to see it,
yeah,
and for this, it's maybe a similar vibe. You're not going to stumble
yeah.
onto a Tubi original
The
every day.
the real life equivalent of the like sort of homophobic biker is not gonna watch this movie.
Right.
But yeah, but the gay guy and the lesbian girl, they would love it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
there you go. So if you're watching this and you're like, the character I most closely identify with is the homophobic biker guy, don't watch Slay.
You probably will not like
And maybe try to be a little bit nicer.
it. Yeah, maybe, change.
Yeah, maybe try to be a little, not quite like that guy.
Listen, I think everyone's perfect, but also you should too. So do that.
All right,
Okay.
I guess that's that for Slay.
So it's time for the raid.
It's time for Muru.
Muru, yeah.
I wish I could have rewatched the raid.
This is a 2022 New Zealand movie directed by Taripa Kahi, who looks like he's mostly done like documentary stuff before. And this is definitely not a documentary. Um, it this essentially follows a police investigation and raid and mistreatment of a local indigenous group in New Zealand. That's kind of the gist. It is kind of maybe a more like politicized group, maybe. At least it seems to be shown in that light here, but it's shown in like the light, like the cops are like, oh, they're talking about overthrowing, they're making them out to be extremists here, right?
Yeah, it's sort of a Maori, I don't know, some sort of a Maori
Yeah.
political group, maybe I don't know. Yeah, I don't that's whatever. This movie was a little, I don't know, mixed bag.
Yes. And I mean, for me, I think one of the tough things about this movie is that it opens up and it says, this is not real events. It gives you some real details of things that have happened to
Mhm.
a real group of people in New Zealand, a real group of indigenous Maori people.
Yeah,
And then it says, this is a response to that stuff. So this is not a, this is, they're not saying that this is based on a true story.
right. This is not a recreation of real events. This is a response to those events.
And so it makes you want to know what those real events are. And
Mhm.
it seems to me like those real events were truly mistreatment to Maori people. This is a very dramatized or
Oh yeah.
exaggerated showing of at least on a violent scale of what happened, right? Like
It
people could feel very emotional and hurt from mistreatment, obviously, but there's like people fall out of a helicopter in this. That doesn't happen.
people yes, people are shot and killed in the movie. There's a lot of uh yeah, it kind of like the second half of the movie really did lose me. It really turned into a kind of like Hollywood action movie in a lot of it. There's like a particular cop who's like this cartoonish villain that just,
Yeah.
I don't know, the whole thing, it just
He
it
feels like an MCU villain.
it's very silly, and it does not match the tone of like the first half of the movie at all, which is very serious and yeah, I don't know. And also there's a guy in this uh who is playing like himself.
Tom May.
Tame Iti, I think
Yeah.
is how you pronounce his name. He's playing himself, and he's like a Maori activist, and he
And he was really arrested in one of these events that it cites at the beginning, right?
exactly. He was arrested in the raid. Yeah. So the raid happened in like I believe 2007, and I think at the beginning of this movie it said 2017. So
Yes.
it's like trying to like separate itself as like this is not attempting to do that. But
It kind of
beginning
still,
of
yeah. The
the
problem
beginning
is
of
that it comes off that way, right?
yes, it does. It's like so similar at the beginning. It seems so similar to the real thing at the start, and then once you get into it, it turns into this ridiculous action thing that just was felt kind of silly.
Yeah, and it's made by pretty much a documentarian, from what I can tell. And
Hmm.
so it's odd that it's almost directly opposite of a documentary. It's like it it is telling a story from a perspective, and it does tell you that it's a response and not a reenactment and stuff. But
Right.
it's I mean, it's still, I think the issue is that it still in some ways feels either misleading and or like dramatize or romanticizing and Hollywoodizing a story of of mistreatment. And it's hard to say because I mean, obviously, it's made by, or it's made at least in with Tame uh, Et. So like obviously he had some input in here of like how it's how that perspective looks, but I don't know. It's kind of, it feels weird. It feels weird to have like
Yeah.
this mesh of reality and fiction.
Yeah. It's very strange. I will say, and a good part of the movie is Cliff Curtis is like the main, I mean, kind of the main character in the movie. He's a primary character in the movie. he's a really great actor, and he there are several scenes where he's really great in the movie, and I it felt like such a missed opportunity. I thought the his relationship with his dad and his relationship as a cop with this sort of more fringe. I don't know if they're fringe or a little more. They kind of reminded me of the Black Panthers in obviously it's a completely different context, but they're sort of not in mainstream politics necessarily, but they're helping their community, but the government views them as extremists that are dangerous. And also the in the movie, the government kills at least one person in the group, or like one or two. And obviously the government targeted and murdered Black Panthers in the US. So that was like one thing I thought of in as a comparison. And so I thought his relationship with this group as a cop was a really interesting thing that the movie could explore. And the fact that his brother is the one that is like undercover helping the New Zealand, I guess it's the federal government, basically spy on this group. Uh, I thought that could have been really fascinating. And I wanted to know, why is he doing that? Why do they disagree? What are the why does he think that group is bad and he wants the government to spy on them? What's the going on with their relationship? And I feel like all of that could have been really great, but they kind of hint they show us it, but then they don't dig into it at all. And then instead it goes in that Holly sort of action movie direction, which I found pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I agree that, like, honestly, the whole that part, but also a lot of the early part of the movie
Mm,
feels really interesting, feels very emotionally deep, and feels very uh built from something real, right? And
yeah.
all this stuff. And yeah, I think the relationship there is interesting, and the dynamics of his relationship with the brother, but also with uh
The other police officer.
the other police officer. I was actually thinking of the kid's name. It's like Rusty. Is it
Oh,
Rusty?
yeah, yeah, I think it's Rusty.
That's funny. There's the guy Dusty in the other movie.
Yeah.
That's why I was getting confused. Yeah. Um, anyways, yeah, I think his relationship with him is really interesting. And these are all things that, like, felt real, and felt like it was making building up this community for us to learn about and experience something through. Um, and it feels like kind of a sudden change too, which was odd. Like, uh, I think there's like the time, yeah, there's like what is it? The guy Rusty like breaks a window, gets brought home, is told to
He's
clean it up the next day, and that's when the raid happens. It's like it's a huge jump.
yeah, and yeah, Rusty has home issues at home, and then he has the broom with him and they think it's a weapon. Um yeah, and then that's when the movie it just gets a little
Yeah,
ridiculous. But it's interesting because I think this and Slayer, it's an interesting counterpoints because I mentioned in Slay, it's like, oh well, because it's lighthearted and silly, I can kind of forgive a lot of the not so good cinematography, sound design, music, the dialogue, stuff like that. But then this movie is actually the exact opposite, where it's like a very serious topic, and I'm not I really don't know much about this topic. I
yeah,
don't know that much about Maori history. I'd never heard of Ru Kanana. I don't know if I'm
yeah.
pronouncing that night correctly, but I just had never heard of him or heard about that history at all. So I am glad that I've watched the movie and I learned a little bit about that. That is cool. But also you're making something about such a serious topic. So then when it goes off the rails and becomes a really silly thing, like action movie by the end, like it it's the opposite where instead of being able to, oh well, it's not that big of a deal because it's just a silly movie. It's the opposite where now I'm like, well, this is such a serious topic. You probably shouldn't be making a silly action movie out of it, you know?
Yeah. And then and to that point, right, when the guy is shot in the car, the I think it's Rusty's dad, right?
Oh yeah,
He's
murdered.
killed in the car. He's murdered by
Yeah,
the police, the special forces.
that crazy guy, the
Yeah.
Kane, I
And
think they call him.
yeah. And then there's the big fight scene, and he jumps out of the helicopter with him and all this stuff. And then the other cop tries to help and all that stuff and whatever. But all that loses we now nobody there's no like I think the mom is like, oh, my love is dead stuff, right? But like there's such less emotional connection there now because it feels like an action sequence and not an emotional death as a result of police injustice and stuff.
Yeah,
um I don't know. I mean, I think the ending was just so I I think it could have been an intro, like it could have been a cool different movie,
yeah,
but it felt like a weird jump from what I was already watching.
yeah. And like it's I don't know, like the first half of the movie, I was like the performances are very good. The
Yeah.
actually it was funny, the beginning of this movie, they're around the fire and they're speaking in I think I don't know if the language is called Maori or if there's a different name for it, but they're speaking a Maori language and there are subtitles. And then at a certain point, he starts speaking English and I could not understand a word. The
Yeah.
the New Zealand accents in this movie are strong. And so at that point I was like, all right, I gotta throw on the subtitles for this one. This was which though I had to do recently for Cats because I couldn't
Yeah.
understand any of a little bit of a different situation. But yeah, very strong New Zealand accents in this movie. And I thought especially Cliff Curtis. I thought Cliff Curtis was really great in the movie and I just wish there was more of his character in the movie, to be honest. And I thought the government police spying on them was all a little, I don't know, like especially just by the end with the K character, it all
Yeah.
fell apart. But the like it is like pretty well shot and in a way it's a lot better made on like a craft level than Slay, which was it's ridiculous to compare these movies, but because this is what happens with the show. We just end up comparing two movies that have no business being compared. But in some ways it's so much better, but because it fumbles the ending so hard and it's about such a serious topic, it ends up just like almost feeling like it might have I don't know. I guess there's a positive like impact of the movie. You're I would have never known about the raids or
Yeah.
any of this type of stuff without watching the movie. But also I'm like I feel like the movie was not a good representation of any of that at all. Not that it's
Yeah.
trying to be, but it
Right.
feels like it feels like it's doing this is not my place to say, but it felt to me like it's doing more harm than good.
Yeah. It's funny because I have a similar hard to digest relationship with the inaccuracies of the movie because um it it's made by people who have experiences and emotions and relate to this material. Um, but it's hard to say that justifies kind of misrepresenting the originality of the story, right? Like I think it maybe would have made more sense if they wanted to tell a story kind of inspired by these things to just make it a separate thing, and it can still talk about these injustices and whatnot in a different way, right? Where it's not balancing on this line of fiction and nonfiction, right? I think
Yeah.
you can still have like thematic uh, connection to what happened, but not direct.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe having like Tame Iti play himself is because it does say at the beginning like this is not based on the true events. So it is kind of separating itself, but then by having him play himself, it feels like we're getting too close to this is supposed to be based on a true story. So you're right. I think if the story itself had gone more had just distanced itself more, it would have been a lot better. And if they had
Right.
focused, I think if they had also focused the story a little bit better, like frankly, all the government characters, none of them are really interesting I guess the lady, maybe her name was Maria, I don't remember, but I don't know. Like, she's the only one character. She's the only person in the government with any depth to her character at all. All the rest might as well just be cardboard cutouts, really. Um,
Yeah.
so I really feel like if they could have, de-emphasized that stuff and focused more on, like I said, I really would have liked the Cliff Curtis with his brother and those dynamics. I would have found a lot more interesting. And I don't know, maybe like. I just feel like yeah, like you were saying, I think it's too close to reality while being so far away from reality, and it doesn't really work.
Right. And like I think one like part of me is like this story that I don't know a lot about. I would be interested to know more about, right? And all I really know now is from pretty baseline stuff after watching this that it's not this, right? But I would like to know more. And so like it's interesting if this was a documentary about these events, I would know more, right?
Yeah.
This might draw more attention, maybe, I guess. Maybe that's the idea, right? You have some action stuff in there. People maybe are more likely to go see it. Um, but on the other hand, also there are cool ways to do action movies that are distant in uh storyline from something that really happened while thematically bringing back and addressing the trauma and the harm that was done.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
I don't know if we covered Do the Right Thing pretty recently,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have any of these type of problems with Do the Right Thing. And but also like I don't know. I don't know what it is where it didn't feel like an issue at all with Do the Right Thing, but it does feel like an issue with this movie. I think this movie, maybe it is casting Tommy Iti as himself, where it feels too close to reality, I guess. I don't know. And maybe the title cards at the beginning, like in a way, it's trying to say this, oh, this is just a response to something that happened. But like by mentioning it, now you're making me think because it's about you mentioned the raids on like these the Maori community in whatever 2005, 2007, whenever it was. And then the story is so close to that that it you can't
Yeah.
separate it. I couldn't separate it at least.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree. So yeah, I mean, I think that I again, like, I think there's almost like two different movies here that both would have been better on their own and finished, right? Like, um, so I don't know. I think I liked a lot of the beginning, and it's not that I even like disliked some of the stuff at the end. I mean, it's kind of like basic action stuff, but it just feels like a different movie, and that's kind of hard to reckon with.
Yeah.
Um, I will say one really positive thing is that it is the first film to receive, according to Wikipedia, first film to receive funding through a special program that is made to develop feature films in the indigenous uh, Te Reo Maori language. So it's awesome that this is a like representation of that language that like cinema is a great way to bring languages together, right? So this is
Yeah.
cool to see that. I just wish it was almost more realistic, either more realistic or less realistic.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that is really cool. And I in a way I feel like I'm glad I watched it because
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this is a part of the world that I'm not super familiar with, and so that is good to. That's kind of what's cool about watching international movies. You can see parts of the world and experience, get a window into different cultures and different ways of life and stuff, and so that is great. And that's a lot of the reason I really liked the first half of the movie is because I thought it was pretty well done in a lot of those ways. And then it just made like once it turns into a silly action movie, it just felt even more disappointing because I liked the beginning so much. And I know that's like it feels like that's all we're talking about, but it really feels like it like kind of soured the whole thing for me.
yeah.
And,
I
and
totally
there are
agree.
good parts to it. Like I said, there are some really good performances and there are interesting aspects to the movie. The cinematography is really nice and like the landscape and just seeing the way of life like is very cool. But it fumbled it so bad in my opinion that I don't know. It's kind of hard to talk about the positives, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I think yeah, kind of a tough one. I feel like because there are good aspects, but I think they're overshadowed here. Um, I don't know. Do you have much more to say about it? Do you think?
No, not really. I mean, I guess one thing I wanted to mention was that the title Muru, uh Muru apparently means like it's a concept of uh like reconciliation or justice or forgiveness in the Maori language. So it's weird that the English title is The Raid, which is completely different than I guess there is no direct translation of Muru. But Muru does not mean raid. It means like reconciliation, basically.
That's fascinating because I didn't even look it up because I just assumed it translated to a raid.
No, doesn't.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. So I feel like,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. But then, whatever. Yeah. It's weird because the the first half of the movie with the more grounded stuff like seems to fit the actual Maori title better. That it would be like exploring those kind of things. And then the second half of the movie sounds more like The Raid, you know.
Yeah,
Not that
for real.
the Raid is a better movie, but a better action movie, but
Yeah,
yeah. So that
interesting.
so yeah, that's just something I wanted to note.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because I don't want to say I trusted it, but kind of. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like this is that word just means the English translation.
No, it does happen like a decent amount with foreign movies where
Yeah.
the English title will just be different, not just a direct translation. So yeah, that was really all I have to say. This was a hard one to rate. Like at one point, I was kind of like, I might just not give this a rating at all. And then the ending, it disappointed me to the point where I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5, which is weird to give it the same rating as Slay. They're so different in so many ways. I think Muru has higher highs, but also the ending left me a little bit or pretty disappointed. So it's not a I don't think it's a bad movie. And I think Cliff Curtis is the standout. Obviously, like
Yeah.
I'm familiar with he's like the big name in the movie, but he is like a legitimately great actor and he has some really great scenes in the movie. It's just that I wish the movie was a little bit more about his character and a little bit less turning it whatever. I said it a million times. I'm just repeating myself. But
No,
anyway,
yeah, definitely.
that's why I gave it 2.5.
Yeah. I ended up giving it 3 stars because to me, well, I don't know. Yeah. The ending ruined it kind of for me, but like also, I don't know. I think to be honest, like a lot of the stuff in the beginning, I was like, okay, I think like I, I might be watching a 4 star movie, like,
Mm,
and then the sudden shift, and I'm like, I kind of just wish they finished the 4 star movie, but it definitely dropped it down, and I don't really know where to put that. It almost feels like this is two movies that should have a different beginning and a different ending for the two, but so I don't know.
yeah,
I guess I'm giving it 3 stars, but
I get that. I get that.
a weird one.
It was a tough one. It was a tough one to rate.
Yeah.
Because it is like I don't know. Maybe it also, I think I also felt like especially toward the beginning, part of, and like in the middle of the movie, I was like, wow, like I'm so unknowledgeable about I guess just ignorant. I'm very ignorant about this topic. And so I feel like I don't have a way to rate it necessarily. But then the ending was so just disappointing on like a filmmaking level, I feel like, where I was like, all right, I think I can comfortably give this a rating and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there is like a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah. And like again, like just pointing out like a lot of stuff like looked good, right? Like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. But
Actually, another thing, there were a lot of like really beautiful shots of
yeah, the
the
scenery.
landscapes and the scenery. Yes, but so I wish they held them a little bit longer. Like some of them would be like, I don't know, like half a second, like 12 frames or something, and then you're gone. And I'm like, oh, I wanted to look at that mountain a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel that too. But yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think yeah, it's a tough one to rate. Again, I mean, I think also just awesome that I think it's awesome that this movie got made because it was able to be made in its kind of uh in
Native
the way to
language.
say it, right? Yeah, like the way to do this movie is in the Maori language. And it's made by indigenous people there. So I think lots of benefits here. It
Yeah.
just doesn't really come together, maybe. But
Yeah. And hopefully there are more movies coming out of New Zealand and like based in the Maori experience. I'd love to watch more.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the rating recap here is, I think, fascinating because this one on Letterboxd, I want to say it also is pretty low. It only has 1.6 thousand views on Letterboxd. So, again, I think it's another one. While we're not maybe the most excited about it here, I do think it's one that more people should just watch, right? I mean, whatever. But for what we do have for ratings, we've got a 6.5 out of 10 on on IMDb, 92% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, no audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and 3.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Averages to a 7.63 out of 10.
Mm.
So interesting there with no audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, but there is the critic score, which is interesting. It seems like this had some film fest premieres, whereas Slay did not. Not that
Gotcha.
I don't know why we're
that makes
comparing
sense.
these.
Did how many reviews does it have on Rotten Tomatoes? If I don't know if you have it up there, but I was just curious, like how if it has a lot of reviews on there or not, or
Yeah.
what. I also wonder, like, I imagine a lot of people from New Zealand have watched this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting, like Letterboxd is probably a very, well, I don't know. I don't know what I imagine the demographics for the
Well,
demographics for Letterboxd might not show the full viewership of the movie. But
right. Well, actually, I think Letterboxd is based in New Zealand.
whoa, I did not
Yeah.
know that.
I'm pretty sure the people who created Letterboxd are from New Zealand.
Wow. Also,
Yep.
it's got 12 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes from critics.
Okay.
So
Not bad. That's pretty good though. Like
yeah.
pretty good overall. And I understand I could yeah. Makes sense.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much brings an end to the Slade episode.
The Slade, aka Sluru.
Sluru. Oh man, we missed out. Yeah, either one.
We can call it Sluru.
Well, it's time to move on from Slade Sluru and venture into whatever our next topic may be.
Yeah, I got the category cup right here. If anyone is watching on YouTube, you can watch. I have my eyes closed.
I'm hoping for a banger here.
Yeah, hopefully we get something good. Here we go. I've pulled out.
It's not a banger.
Cursed movie sets.
Cursed movie sets. Well, I think I know what I'm picking, to be honest.
Well, you put this on here, so great. This will be fun to talk about people dying on movie sets and all this type of shit.
Well, it doesn't have to be people die like Jaws, I feel like, because the
okay.
animatronic hit, like it doesn't have to be like cursed, like somebody dies, but like it has a series of unfortunate events associated with it. Like I feel like Jaws feels iconic. I'm not actually picking Jaws because I've seen it too recently, but no, you can if you want to. But like, it has so much stuff that goes wrong while the filmmaking process.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like the Twilight Zone movie where like people died. Yeah.
That's kind of maybe my original thought in this, but I feel like it doesn't have to be that strict. It doesn't have to be. I mean, I'm doing The Omen. I want to do The Omen.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that was I kind of put with this in mind. So I'm picking The Omen. But but it doesn't have to be one like this where a ton of terrible tragedies happen to everyone
Okay.
making the
Yeah,
movie.
maybe I'll avoid a something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, like The Crow would be another example of like
yeah.
someone dying on set tragically, but that's not.
Oh,
I don't want to talk about it. It's sad.
yeah, something like Jared Leto's, uh,
Life.
yeah, Suicide Squad though. Remember, like, didn't he like send rats to people or
Oh
something?
yeah, he was
All
like,
sorts of like,
what a fucking weirdo. Fuck Jared Leto. I'm
like,
glad. You know what? I'm gonna go on YouTube. I'm gonna watch that scene of him getting murdered in American Psycho just because you reminded me of him. What a fucking weirdo, man. I I don't
yeah,
like
but
I don't
like
like Jared Leto.
that would be like a cursed set, even though it's not like
Right.
cursed, right? Like I feel like I would certainly not want to be on that set. I'll tell you that. Brief deliberation there. I knew right away. I'm jumping right in with the Omen. It's kind of why I put this in here. Been itching for a nice cursed rewatch.
And you
Uh,
know what? Recently you picked Paranormal Activity. I had never seen Paranormal Activity, and I psychotically, maybe masochistically, maybe an action out of self-loathing and maybe self-hatred, some could say. I watched every Paranormal Activity movie, which was a bad idea. There's only one that I thought was even good. And I've never seen The Omen. I've never seen the Omen sequels, and I heard the first Omen was supposed to be good.
oh,
So maybe I'll be crazy and do all that.
I haven't seen any of the sequels. This might be another one of those situations. For context, by the way, Shane bought like a box set of Blu-rays for the
It
Paranormal
was
Activity.
it was like a rather good deal for the number of movies you got. However, it was not a good deal for the quality. Most of them were trash.
I now have that box set, by the way. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Shane.
you're welcome. I just wanted to get it out. I was like, get this away from me. I don't want this. I liked the marked ones, but it wasn't worth keeping all those other ones around just for one one okay horror movie. But maybe I won't watch all the Omen movies. We'll see. Uh, probably not. Probably not. But I'm picking Burden of Dreams, the documentary about the making of Fitzcarraldo. So, well, I don't know. I don't think. Have you seen Fitzcarraldo, Ryan?
No.
I don't. It might be worth watching
Yeah,
Fitzcarraldo.
sounds like it.
Maybe worth might be worth watching Fitz. Maybe I'll probably rewatch both too.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea. But yeah, it's a documentary by Les Blank about the making of Fitzcarraldo and Werner Herzog being a completely insane man. It's about, as you might guess, the burden of dreams. So,
Whoa.
mhm. Yeah, good title.
um,
Better than that other title you were talking about earlier. Like, oh, you might walk over here or something it was called.
um, in the vein of behind the scenes things, I'm probably gonna watch. There's apparently a Shutter series called Cursed Films, and one of the episodes is about the Omen. So I'll probably watch that if anyone out there wants to jump in with some extra background. Shane, feel free not to. That's okay if you don't want to.
Maybe I'll be the
Yeah,
you'll teach me about what has happened on the set of The Omen, and I'll just be
perfect.
the blind
Nice. Good.
co-host.
Excellent. Well, um,
I guess
yeah,
that's
so
that.
we've got the Burden of Dreams Omen.
Oh, the Burden
The
of Omens
the Burden of Omens. That's easy.
or the Omen of
Omen of
Dreams. I
Dreams. I
like
like the
that.
Omen of Dreams.
The
Not even
Omen of
just
Dreams.
Omen of Dreams.
Yeah, sure. The Omen of Dreams. I like the
All right,
because it's
fine.
the Omen.
Sure, whatever. The
The
Omen of
Omen of
Dreams.
Dreams. I like it.
All right, it rocks. That rocks.
The Omen
Nice.
of Dreams. Cool. So tune in. Hopefully, in just a few days, we'll have our One Battle After Another review out on YouTube, on all the podcast platforms. That is an exciting episode. We are both very much looking forward to that movie. And then after that, we'll have the Omen of Dreams. And yeah, guess that's that.
Yeah. So pretty good lineup. You guys know how to follow all of us. We've got Mind Your Movies on Letterboxd and on all the streaming sites. Find us on all those places. r/Mind Your Movies on Reddit. We'll be having some discussion on. I'm sure we'll have some on One Battle After Another, seeing in
Oh
this
yeah.
division all over the place. So make sure you're tuned in.
Yeah, yeah. Check the Reddit for some, start some conversations over there. And yeah, don't forget to mind your movies.